Budweiser.
Turn out, but I think it's going to be a great competition, JP.
And we've got Bigfoot. We also have the monster tanks. We hope you'll stay with us. The action will continue from Houston in just a moment. Budweiser presents the Ford Houston Food Bank Truck and Tractor Pull World Championships. Tonight's telecast is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aids for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all that you do, this Bud's for you. Welcome back, everyone, to the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. John Paul Dellacamera, along with Mike Gallaway, here to bring you the coverage on the Budweiser Ford Houston Food Bank Truck and Tractor Pull World Championships. And the next competition is the two-wheel drive competition, and it's Ken Ewan from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, who'll start things off.
These are very exciting trucks. They're two-wheel drive. There's no cubic inch limitation. They run supercharged engine on alcohol. Beautiful Ford body. They're called a sports modified two-wheel drive. There's a good shot of Kenneth as he's checking over the tach and the oil pressure before he turns loose of this big supercharged engine. Beautiful 87 Ford truck body with a 572 cubic inch Chevrolet motor, 18.4, 16.1 tires, and he's the first man up. Got a little fire under the hood on that pass, but it's just a little bit of oil seeped out of the headers. Out on the headers, a little oil flared up there. It's all right. Outside, though, with a full pull for the Oklahoma Warrior.
So Ken Ewan gets off to the good start with the full pull. They're saying down at the track it looks like a full pull. The fire actually started very close to that end line, but from up here it looks like a full pull. We'll wait for the official call.
Now what happens on this, JP, is the engine will heat up as it goes down. Of course, they're building heat inside the engine, and when that happens, the oil will thin out, and it'll seep out from underneath the valve covers and leak down on the headers. The headers, of course, red hot from the exhaust coming out of them.
And the Oklahoma Warrior pulls it 220 feet, so he does get credit for the full pull. Mike, I find this fascinating. A 17-year-old driver, Dana Stevens, a female and a 17-year-old. They're making them young these days in terms of drivers.
Very beautiful young lady, and she does a great job with this truck. Truly does. It's a family of sport. She will be competing with her brother, who will be up a little bit later on in this class. This family campaigns two vehicles. Brother drives one, sister drives one, and it's a family battle on the track. Hopefully they leave it all off when they go home, but they're a really great bunch of people. The Stevens, they do a good job, and they hook hard. Both the trucks are real strong runners. This is an 86 Ford Ranger with a 588 cubic inch supercharged engine. Turns the headlights on. You want to be able to see where she's going. As she flips the lights on, that's her father giving a little bit of last-minute advice.
Is this the youngest driver you've ever seen, Mike, or are they even younger than that?
There have been, for a number of years, drivers that are younger than this. The rules say that they must be at least 16 years of age with a parent's consent.
And a driving license, right?
And a driver's license. It always helps.
Yeah.
Only 220 feet, but you're looking at about 1,700 horsepower sitting under the hood of this beautiful Ford truck. Well, that young lady just absolutely lowered the hammer on it. Right out the gate, carrying the front end. The balance on the truck was beautiful, that pass. And Dana did a real good job. Let's watch her. She comes down the track with this earthquake. Notice the tire speed immediately. She just opens the butterflies wide open right out of the hole and really hard on the throttle. Now it's drifting to the left. Watch her bring it down just enough to bring it around, keep it inbounds, and heads it right out the gate. Now she just really running on the line, and we can't see from our vantage point. She may have taken that out of bounds.
Well, Dana Stevens apparently did go out of bounds at 151 and 6 inches. That's what she'll be given credit for. But initially there was some confusion, Mike, because they announced that she had made the full pull.
Well, the judge evidently wasn't in position to see it, and later on conferred with another official, and they did find out that it was out of bounds. That's gonna hurt her real bad. You know, that 151 feet 6 inches is a good pull. It's an excellent pull, But when you're in running with the competition, these people are in the race for the national championship. And when you're in running that kind of competition, that really hurts. There's a good shot of Darrell, the sled operator. And he's in the back of that sled for a number of reasons. He's there for safety most of all. If at any time something gets out of control or some kind of problem arises, Darrell is able to stop the sled by locking the brakes on it. He can lock the box in any position, and if he saw that a vehicle was just out of control and some problems where someone could be injured, he can actually leave the seat and go around and pull the kill switch that hooks up to the vehicle and shut the motor off. So that way he'd be able to stop it if something happened. Other than that, he's back there for a ride, and it's probably the best ride that there is in the house.
Our next competitor is from Mantua, Ohio, Butch Schultz.
We saw Butch just a moment ago with his beautiful funny car. Now he's back with competition on Magnum Jr. Now this is a beautiful 1987 Ford Ranger with a 572 cubic inch supercharged Ford. It's all Ford front to back, including engine. Butch is a Ford man from the word go, and he really builds a strong competitive vehicle. Now, Butch is a body man in Mantua, Ohio, and all of his vehicles show it. The bodywork on these are just beautiful. They're black. The panels are all straightened to just absolutely perfection. Let's see if he can take it out. He's got to be in the pull-off. Well, that's going to be a close one, a real close one.
He's got a fire there too, doesn't he?
That's just burning off the excess alcohol coming out of the headers. The headers are hot, and the vapors are coming out. There he's showering the alcohol out of the motor, cleaning it out a little bit. The flames go right back down inside the engine and are snuffed out.
There's a look at Butch Schultz's vehicle, Magnum Jr. at 218 feet, 2 inches.
Watch out. Strap yourself in. The wildest show on wheels is about to roar into your living room. The United States Hot Rod Association brings you the ultimate home video. Blood, sweat, and gears. Bigfoot takes on the toughest full-blown competition ever. But then he faces his greatest test. It's man versus machine, with Sergeant Slaughter and his battle battalion challenge Bigfoot to an all-out tug of war. So if you want gear jamming, car-crushing, down and dirty action, get ready for the video event of the year. Blood, sweat, and gears. To order your video, call 1-800-351-1500. Toll free, 1-800-351-1500.
Now, doing an excellent job. He's a strong competitor in this two-wheel drive class. Builds the trucks himself, does all the maintenance work on them. He and his father, Sonny. Of course, now he's got to try to beat his sister, Dana. Got awful close to the end, but it's not going to be enough to put him out. Butch Schultz just 2 foot away. We'll have to wait on a measurement for Darren. A good pass, maybe just a little bit too much air pressure, and it looked like the truck got to bouncing a little bit on the end of the track, and that really took the footages off of Darren. And notice Darren, the rear tires turning. He's got good tire speed. Right here, he's easing into the motor. Right there when the butterflies are level, the engine wide open. Balance is good on it, but the tires in the back are bouncing. And every time they're bouncing, they're taking some footage off of it. That's not good. They need to hook into that track good, solid. You see the truck still trying to bounce a little bit, and that's a problem. That could either be the tires or the hitch.
So Darren Stevens of Tulsa, Oklahoma comes in with a distance of 217 feet, 9 inches. That beats his sister Dana's pole, but by the same token, it puts him in 3rd spot in the two-wheel drive competition.
Here's Alan Gaines out of Georgetown, Kentucky. He's in the lead for the championship in this class. He's got a very good hook. Front end's up in the air. Well, Alan's going to force it into a pull-off. A beautiful pass all the way down. This truck, by the way, has a full stock interior in it. All the AM/FM stereo radios, the tilt wheel. I don't think the cruise control is hooked up on it, but it's all original inside. Beautiful truck and a fine job. Allen just takes it right out of the gate, so forces it into a pull-off. Ken Ewan with the Oklahoma Warrior and the Orange Blossom Special 3 out the gate. There's a shot of Alan Gaines, and no, he's not so poor he can't afford shoes or boots, but he actually drives the trucks without any shoes on. He's got 3 of them, and he'll drive each and every one of them without his shoes. He feels like that he can actually feel the truck better. He knows more what the throttle's doing by driving barefooted, and he's done it for years, and how can you knock it? He's a very successful puller.
So it's time for the pull-off. Ken Ewan of Oklahoma City will go first.
They go into the pull-off in the order that they accomplished the pull-off. Ken being first puller and first person to take it out. He'll take it and come back again. Now the sled will be heavier. The box will come up faster, transferring and making it harder to pull. But Ken will really get on it hard. That's a good pull for Kenneth, a really good pull. Motor's heating up with it just coming off of another full pull. He's getting a little steam out of the engine, but it doesn't hurt anything, a little blow by.
So Kenny Ewan, the first person in the pull-off competition, a 168-foot pull, 4.5 inches. That's the mark that Alan Gaines of Georgetown, Kentucky will have to beat. Alan Gaines of Georgetown, Kentucky with a mark of 168 feet, 4.5 inches to beat. The question is, can he do it?
OBS, Orange Blossom Special, and he is tough. He's the current leader and will be, if he wins this class, the 1987 national champion in the 2-wheel drive class for the United States Hot Rod Association. Alan is strong. Now this mark to beat is nothing to sneeze at. That's going to take a good hard pull. The weight box is coming up the ramp real fast. The track is tearing up. It's rutting up a little bit. Alan at a disadvantage following Kenneth because the track is not as good as it was for Kenneth. But I think that he could probably put one together. It'll know in just a moment. He's really running good tonight. Oklahoma Warrior, of course, beautiful job with that truck. Ken Ewan did a great job. Let's see what happens. Alan Gaines rolls the slack out of the chain, and he knows he needs to go past the 168.4 mark. If he can, he'll take it all the way out. That's going to be a real close one, JP. We'll have to wait on a measurement to find out. And it's very, very close in competition. Those two trucks running exceptionally well tonight.
Mike, how much closer can you get it? The winner is going to be Alan Gaines at 169.2. He won it by 10 inches.
There's Kenneth and Alan visiting, and Alan, the new national champion. Of course, Kenneth would be the first one there to congratulate him. Both of these people, great competitors. Alan wins a brand new Ford truck for his campaigning all year long, plus many other prizes on the Ford Budweiser Circuit of Champions. The 2-wheel drive class belongs to Alan Gaines, the man on the left.
They're setting the sled for the tractor competition, and we'll be back to call that for you in just a moment from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas.
This event is brought to you in part by Rizlone. It keeps the internal engine parts clean and free of sludge. Add Rizlone to your motor oil today and keep the engine in top performance. And his 2 children, Dusty, will compete against her father in this class. And her son drives the beautiful blue Jet Funny car sitting behind that tractor on the sideline. And he will be running an exhibition pass a little bit. They're getting up to operating capacity. There's the lights and the fire of the green monster. He calls this the 2-headed monster, and you'll see why when he gets the green flag. There comes Art Arfon, lit and ready. Art having a real tough time, a real rough ride. So Art Arfon really has to fight it hard, but a beautiful pull, ends up out the gate. Through dirt all the way over the sled back onto the rider. Watch Art when he leaves. Fire coming out of the jets. He knows he's ready to go with it right there. The tire speed is tremendous. He's probably spinning the tires close to 100 miles an hour as he leaves with it. Wide open, and heads up down the track, lifts it up in the front end, and a beautiful pass. Now, I know Art would like to have another 100 pounds on the front of the tractor. The tractor way too high on the front end. And Art having a real tough time riding it out. He's touching the brakes, bringing it around, and keeping it on the track, inbound. Way high in the air for Art Arfons, but the power's there, and look at the tire speed. A beautiful pass for Art Arfons' Green Monster.
So the Green Monster does get credit for the full pull, a rough ride, but the full ride nonetheless for Art Arfons of Akron, Ohio. We're here with David Williams, the executive director for the Houston Food Bank. And David, the Houston Food Bank stands to really benefit by tonight's action.
Yeah, we're real excited. You know, we estimate that for every dollar that's donated to the food bank, we're able to distribute about $25 worth of food. So we're really excited. We feel that we can take donations of money and really have a big impact in the community.
How serious is the problem here in Houston?
Well, it's extremely serious. We have seen in the last 4 or 5 years an incredible number of people having to resort to food pantries and soup kitchens to survive. People that 4 years ago were doing perfectly fine, had good jobs, but have been laid off. And so we have seen a dramatic increase. These pantries that are operated by volunteers a couple of years ago served 40 to 50 people per month, now serve 4,000 to 5,000 people per month. So it's a very serious problem.
Can you tell us what a crowd like this will do for you money-wise tonight? What could you hope to generate?
Well, we know that that the sponsors are going to donate about $1,500, and then we hope that through the announcements that will be going on throughout the show, that individuals will be interested in contributing also. In addition to money, we also, of course, need food, but also time. Volunteers donate over 1,000 hours per month, and so that's important too.
So the fans are not only enjoying tonight's competition, but they're contributing to a very worthy cause as well, the Houston Food Bank.
As we get ready to go to Don Nelson, two supercharged 482 cubic inch Chevrolet Texas Flash. Texas Flash backs up. This young man started out with this tractor. At the time it was started, had 2 carbureted motors in it. He's advanced up now, got the big 1,700 horsepower Chevrolets in it, and he's strong. He's a good, tough competitor. He reads the track well, he drives the tractor very well, and the tractor is a good piece. An excellent piece of competition equipment. But he's gonna have to be. Got to go out the gate for a full pull. Art Arfons took it out. Had a wild ride, but he made the full pull. Let's see how Don does. Now he's raising his hands. That lets the gentleman that is hooking the tractor to the sled know that everything is in a neutral position. It's just a safety measure that most of the drivers adhere to as he raises his hands up. Visor down, and here comes a young man that's in for the ride of a lifetime. Only 220 feet of dirt, but it's going to be tough for him. Did a good job, but what really hurt him when the tractor started drifting to the right-hand side of the track. I think you'll see this in just a moment as they come back to the replay. As he does that, he has to touch the brakes to bring the tractor around. Front end's in the air. He cannot steer it. You'll notice as he leaves with the sled, he starts drifting off to the right. When he does that, a little bit further down the track, he's going to have to go to the brake and try to bring it around and keep it inbounds. Now the tire's drifting real close to the sidelines. This is where he gets on the brakes real hard, swings the tractor around. Now what that does is actually kills the momentum, slows the tires down, the momentum goes down, the weight box is already up, the tractor's in a good bind in, but they just couldn't pull it out tonight. A good job. I think he might have gone a lot further if he hadn't had to hit the brakes and bring it around.
Don Nelson just finished ride, and his official time 158 feet and 11 inches. Ohio.
Twin Allison aircraft engine stair step, each one of them operating through their own clutch. The front motor fuel injected with turbochargers added to it. The back motor, the centrifugal blower and alcohol fuel injection, 2 very exotic engines. It was built during World War II, used during World War II. The fighter pilots probably won the war with it. Originally designed in 1929, there are 4 intakes and 4 exhaust valves per cylinder. very sophisticated in that day and still sophisticated today. Milt built a lot of horsepower. He's the current reigning national champion in this class and does a great job with the new and improved rambunctious. The V12 Allison, he has to go out. Art Arfon made a full pull, and Milt Bergman now has to compete against that. He's got to go out. And he's having a little bit of a problem getting that one motor to clean out. Black's out of the chain, everything's on go. Watch the tire speed of Milt Bergman. Milt got it headed right. Just can't horse it around, and look at the blow-by coming out of the turbines up in front. I believe he probably pumped a little more oil in it than he normally does, and that's where he got the smoke out of it. Beautiful job, but lacked a little bit getting it all the way out. Milt doesn't lack for tire speed. He really hammers it hard. He'd like to have another probably 50 pounds on the front end to kind of glue it down and make it a little bit better, because at one point in here again, Milt has to get on the brakes, and when he does that, it just really loses the momentum that it's been using up to get it down the track. Look at that Budweiser bow tie just spinning so rapidly inside that tire. A good job for Milt Bergman, not enough to force a pull-off. Well, it's tough enough to start the old four-cylinder in the cold mornings, but how would you like to worry with 24 cylinders of power? That's what Ron Warschau and his son Troy are doing right now. They're trying to fire the engines. They've got them both fired up. 24 cylinders. Now that totals out to 48 spark plugs. Now here's a man that goes for a serious tune-up. When he goes for a tune-up, it's serious. Twin engine, side-by-side Allison setting in the middle. We noticed earlier we've seen tractors from time to time with the stair step. Well, Ron runs them side by side, each one of them through an individual clutch, into a gearbox, and then a single shaft into the rear end. Ron Warschau makes his home in Iowa, Falls, Iowa, and his son will also compete in this class. Troy is a very fine competitor. First year on the circuit. He's a senior in high school. Does a great job, but right now it's Dad's turn with Top Gun.
Why so many families and father and son competitors in this kind of competition, Mike?
It's kind of a situation where it's a family sport, and it's not dangerous to speak of. The tractor pulling class and the truck classes are not a dangerous type of sport. It's something the whole family gets involved in, just as some families go to the lake for a weekend out. Well, these people go tractor pulling or truck pulling for the weekend. Top Gun machine has to thunder to a full pull. He wants to get into the pull-off situation with Art Arfon. Believe me, Ron Warschau will try. He could not keep the thing in the middle of the track. Now, he's light on the front end. He has all the weight he can put out there, and he wants to go to the left, as you can tell as he's got the tires cut. Backs out of it, settles it down. Later on, he really has to hammer it down. There's a good stout-built machine as it took that bounce on the track, lifts back up. Ron knows he's in trouble. He just wants to try to get all the footage he can out of it. It's short of a full pull, but it's a good run. Maybe a little more weight on the front end. He's been in good shape, but they cannot weigh over 7,200 pounds, and that's where Ron weighs in tonight.
And here's Ron Warschau's vehicle, Top Gun, 176 feet, 9 inches, good for second place, but nowhere near the full pull that he needed for a pull-off with Art Arfon. This event is brought to you in part by Duraliner, the world's best-selling truck bed protector.
These are the pros.
Get their pictures taken and see what that was all about. And I know they didn't do that in Oakland. Is that unusual for truck pulls?
This is the first time in something brand new for the United States Hot Rod Association called a show and shine. They open the doors up early, let everyone come down on the floor and look at the vehicles, get the feel of them. The kids especially love this. And they get up close to these vehicles. You know, they actually can sit inside the wheels of the monster truck. They can marvel at the engines. You know, it's got to run through their minds, by heavens, what does one of these things cost? And the pricing on them varies from vehicle to vehicle, but to cover it in one term, it would be expensive. But it's really a great thing, and I look for them to do this in a lot of the stadiums and a lot of future events where they open it up early. And They call it a show and shine. Let everyone take a look at all the exciting vehicles.
We're back at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. John Paul Dellacamera along with Mike Gallaway. And our next competitor is Bill Leishner from Weldon, Illinois, who needs a full pull to force the pull-off with Art Arfons.
Bill is the current leader, and I believe he has it sewed up, of the tractor class of the United States Hot Rod Association. He will also win a new Ford truck, winning this class, if it is true that he is in the lead, and I believe he's got this one won. But he has to go out for a full pull to force Art Arfon into a pull-off. 3 aluminum Hemi head Aries motors. He is up. Oh, he horsepowered it. Now, there's a man that really used all the horsepower he had with the tractor. The tractor normally would have been stopped quite a ways back down the track, but he just laid into the motors and let it sit there and grind itself out, hopefully getting a few more feet for a full pull. If he's not, he's awful close. Immediate tire speed, probably a 90-mile-an-hour tire speed on this tractor. The front end of it up in the air, a good balance on it, good ride all the way through, a lot of speed. Here again, having some problems keeping the tractor in bounds, and he also had to let it down, slowed it down quite a bit. And watch him grind. Right there, the sled should have stopped him, but he just grinds on the throttle and gets another 2 foot or so. We'll get the measurement for him. He needed that full pull to force it into a pull-off with Art Arfon.
Well, Bill Leishner of Weldon, Illinois came close. How close? He was only 1 foot off from forcing a full pull with Art Arfons. He is in second place with 219 feet. From Iowa Falls, Iowa, is Troy Warkskow.
His father made a good pass. I believe he's currently in second place. No, moved down further than that. A good pass. Here comes Troy. Got the front end up. There's a young man that truly has had an outstanding year. His first year as a professional touring puller, and really done a great job this year.
And Troy Warsko from Iowa Falls, Iowa, comes in with a distance at 163 feet, 7 inches.
We're in the middle of the tractor competition as we get down to Richard Popham out of Floresville, Texas, with the Outlaw Windblown Chevrolets. He and his father run a dairy operation in the Floresville area, and he needs to go a full pull. Art Arfon's the only one that has made the trip tonight with the competition. Richard has watched the rest of the pullers go. He should have the track pretty well dialed in as far as what to do on weight. But one of the things that's working against him is the deterioration of the track. Each time the racers go down the track, pullers go down the track, they tear the track up. Of course, trying to pack it back as close to the first puller as humanly possible, but we all know that just doesn't happen all the time. The slack comes out of the chain for Richard Popham and the Outlaw out of Floresville, Texas. Here's a heavy-hitting young man. Well, the track has just played havoc on the last part of this class. But the guy is not being able to get a hold of it, not able to put enough horsepower down to the track to make that full pull. A good job. Maybe another 100 on the front would have worked a little bit, as he's already got quite a bit stacked out there. But you see right there, it gets a little high on him. It starts to drift to the left-hand side of the track. He's touching the brake, pull it around, keep it in bounds, lets off of it, just bring it around and get enough traction on the front tires to jerk it around so it doesn't go out of bounds. A good run for Richard, but just couldn't put the program together for a full pull.
So the champion for tonight is Art Arfons of Akron, Ohio. He was the only one to go with a full pull in our modified tractors competition. Coming up next, we'll have the monsters, but before we do that, let's go to Mike Gallaway and a special guest to learn more about the monster truck competition.
Well, we're just about ready for monster truck competition, and Jim Kramer, driver of Bigfoot. Jim, what's it going to take to win this competition tonight?
It's going to be fierce here in the World Finals. I tell you, it's a heck of a course out here. The trucks are starting at the base of the first hill, accelerating over the first hill, coming up to a pyramid of cars. We're talking 12 foot high, 40 foot long, coming off the pyramid of cars, hopefully very fast or quickly. Hitting the second hill, making a sharp corner either right or left, depending what track you're on. Getting as straight as you can, and then barreling down the straightaway, hitting 6 cars, over 6 cars, and across the finish line. This could be very, very exciting.
Jim, what will the drivers be thinking about when they make the curve?
The curve is going to be one of the really toughest parts of the track. It's you've only got about 36 usable feet. If you stretch it out, you might be able to get 40. That's really tight for a monster truck. A driver's going to have to be, of course, accelerating, coming over the hill, coming to almost a complete stop, making the corner, get back on the gas, get straight, like I said, because it's very important to be straight for that last set of cars, Mike. The last set of cars is going to make you a break from here.
Well, Jim, I'm going to take you upstairs, and we're going to watch the competition from upstairs, and we'll be back with the battle of the monster trucks in just a moment.
I'm going to make way and let the experts talk about it, starting with you, Mike.
I think it's going to be great competition tonight for the simple reason that we're running this pyramid of cars, and this is the first time we've seen this in a dome stadium like this. Jim, how tough is the pyramid of cars?
Well, you take the whole track, Mike, just sitting here looking over it, I'd give it a degree of difficulty about number 8 in a 10 scale. You got to start off with a jump, run about 60 feet under acceleration, hit this pyramid of cars. Cars are roughly 12 foot tall, about 40 foot long. You got to climb those cars, and the first 2 runs are going to be difficult because it's going to be hard to do. Get those cars crushed right for the subsequent runs. And once you're over that pyramid, hit the ground, run about another 60 feet, another jump. You have to charge the second jump, immediately put on the brakes, try to make either hard right or left turn, depending what track you're on. Then race down and hit these 6 cars for the ending, and you've got to hit those cars and under speed and hit them straight. If you don't, you're liable to see monster trucks careen to the left or to the right up on 2 wheels or whatever.
Now it's time for the monster competition. Now we're going to take a look at Bigfoot first, and Rich Hauser will be doing the driving.
Off and running with Bigfoot. Rich charging the cars. Now here's the big tough part, over this pyramid. And he's doing it. He's got about a truck link on the Duraliner Giant over the last hill, getting some air. Here's the tough part of the course, according to Jim Kramer. He makes a tight turn, and now he's got the straightaway down the front chute with Bigfoot. He's got to line up and hit the cars on the run. He's got a big lead up in the air, over. It's going to be a Bigfoot victory in the first round. Duraliner Giant runs into problems, but Bigfoot takes it home. Duraliner Giant standing it right up on the rear tires. As he charges the cars, a true competitor. He knows he's out of the race, but he puts on quite a show for the people in the Duraliner Giant. So the Duraliner Giant falls to an early elimination as Bigfoot takes home a victory. This is going to be a good race. This is Excalibur against the Virginia Giant. And this Excalibur truck has really been charging hard. Mike Nichols up against the Virginia Giant, Dale Wilson. I don't believe I could pick a favorite on this.
They ran together about 2 weeks ago, and I was there. Excellent run. Excalibur just, he's a little bit slower, say, on the turns, but excellent on the cars. This man hits the cars wide open.
I've seen him do that a number of times, and if there's any way to go over him, he will go over him very quickly.
Now you take Dale Wilson, the man of experience here. He can do it all. He can hit the cars, he can make the corners. He's a very good competitive truck. Never count Dale out.
Dale's always tough with the Virginia Giant truck as they're staging him up to the line. The winner of this will advance to second round.
The idea here is, Mike, is make the best run you can, keep your truck together, and keep it running for the next round, because you don't win a race.
Dale's got an early lead, but right, this is what's going to nail the tail. Excalibur almost goes over, but he gets a good hold shot on the Giant. Dale Wilson is putting on a charge, a good quick turn. Dale making a very tight turn. Now it's a straight shot at the cars. Who's it going to be? Dale Wilson is lined up. Dale seems to be in good shape. Watch out, Excalibur's making a charge right at the last minute. It's Dale Wilson. Dale Wilson really putting on a good drive. I think Dale used his head pretty much on that pass. Well, here's where the Virginia Giant leaves on him and heads down the straightaway. Here's where he's got a lead. Good smooth jump.
Really smooth. Notice he's coming down. The tire speed's still up. Maintaining control. About to get on the gas one last time to make that finish line.
very good job. Theo Wilson advances the second round with the Virginia Giant. Fred Schaefer on the far side in barefoot. Of course, the ever-awesome Don Maples on the near side. Both of these trucks are quite a bit heavier than some of the other trucks.
Yes, they are. They weigh in about anywhere 15 to 18,000 pounds. But then again, they have 1,000 to 1,200 horsepower, where a lot of these other trucks you just saw run only 700, 800 horsepower. It's hard to control horsepower, especially on a track like this. You got to get on the gas, get off, but try to maintain a smooth run. And your engine is so responsive. You hit those cars wrong, you're going straight up in the air instead of making forward progressions. You've got to try to keep that motor under control, and we're going to see who's going to be the master of that track.
Cars are looking a little worse for wear, especially on this pyramid, but that's kind of good for the monster truck drivers, isn't it? When they get them crushed down, it makes them easier to go over.
It does, but you notice the pyramid in the far lane is getting a definite lean toward this side of the building, and that tends to throw the truck off to the left. The last racer came off to the left.
This is a close one. Fred Schaefer's having problems, as you mentioned, controlling that horsepower. Look out, Fred Schaefer up on two wheels. Up on two wheels with barefoot, and he's still got a problem. Easing over. I think Fred has really kind of stunned himself. He thought he was going to go over. It's a tight turn. Fred Schaefer makes the turn. He just comes for the cars, making a good, strong pass. Schaefer taking out a victory as Don Maple just really puts a lot of air on the Samson truck. Well, right here, he's made the turn and he's headed for the final set of cars. And you can tell Fred's really got his mind on it.
He's straightened, like I said, a 1,200 horse engine. All he has to do is just feather that gas. He's going to fly over and he's going to make the win.
That's a foot. Gets ready for another go at it. And it's going to be here, the Virginia Giant.
Virginia Giant coming up against Bigfoot. And, of course, Kramer, here's the situation. You got two fine drivers and two good monster trucks and a close race.
Well, you've got Theo Wilson, a fine driver. Rick Hoosier, definitely a good man in Bigfoot 4. Wilson has definitely got the worst lane. He's got that pyramid of cars leaning on him. He's got a right hand, a blind hand side turn to make. Rich, on the other hand, has a good pyramid, has a good left-hand turn, can cut it sharper. It's going to be an exciting race all the way around, but I think the foot truck should take this one.
Well, we'll know in just a moment as they stage the trucks for the second round. And, of course, the winner of this will go once again as they just keep eliminating till we have a monster team. It's close. It's very close. They're side by side. Bigfoot takes a little bit of a lead right there, but it's Theo Wilson. It's Theo Wilson coming on strong. Wilson over the hill. It's going to have to be made up if it can be made up on the jump. Rick Hoosier swings wide. Wilson has got it. Wilson is right there. Let's see if can he pull it out. Hoosier makes a jump. He pulls it out. Rick Hoosier pulls it out. He really put the drive on the truck. He was beat by several car lengths until he went to that last set of cars. Jim Kramer, in that last set of cars, the horsepower and the driving came alive in safety.
Rich had a little bit of trouble on his turn. Once he got straightened out, like I said, you've got a long straightaway, and if you are straight, you can use that acceleration, use that speed, hit those cars, fly off, and you win the race. Theo Wilson definitely put the pressure on him. I know he had Rich worried. Rich did a fine job, really fine job.
Rich really had to drive hard for that victory, and he pulled it out, as you said, did a great job. Shows that he is a man under pressure. He's sitting on the line looking for his next.
And take Theo Wilson, making the best of a bad situation. The worst pyramid, the hard turn, and still almost won the race. That's experience for you.
That truly is experience and a great job on the part of Theo Wilson. Well, Rick Hoosier has come around and parked on the line, going back at it immediately. He'll go back to back. He will come up against Bigfoot, against Barefoot. This ought to be quite a race. Fred, as you mentioned, in the far lane, the little bit of problem, and Fred has got to be going through his mind right now what happened on that pyramid of cars just a moment ago.
Oh, it definitely does. This could very well happen again. If Fred can lead the cars a little bit to the right, I think he's going to come off that pyramid a lot.
Here it is. Hoosier still after him. It's a close race. Hoosier trying to jump him. Barefoot's really out of the lead up over the hill. Now, this is where he won it before. It's a tight race. It's tied up. They are just even. Barefoot will not let up. Neither one of them. Hoosier's going to go for it. was a very, very close race. An action-packed race. It's a photo finish. We're going to look at it. This is the last set of cars, and here is the finish. High in the air. Barefoot is leading it right there, but I believe that Rick passes him right here. The landing is so critical.
Bigfoot actually passed him in the air. Fred was on the cars first, but he had lost his forward momentum. He didn't charge the cars fast enough. On the other hand, Rick had so much speed going when he hit the cars, his speed never stopped. His momentum carried him ahead of Fred while they were flying in the air over the cars. Great run.
A very good run, and they have declared Bigfoot the winner. It was a photo finish, and Rick Hoosier has been declared the winner of that heat. What a race. And here is the Virginia Beach Beast. Watch this wild animal go to work.
Mike, I think I'd love to ride with the man just one time and see what it feels like. Track machine feels like.
22,000 pounds. Watch it turn. This thing is just awesome. Of course, it steers with steering like a bulldozer, two-stick steering, and he does not, he just destroys the cars as he flies over them. Look out. He took a hard dive there as he nosed into the side of the car. This is some machine. The Virginia Beach Beast. That's Bill Townsend's ride. The 73 Blazer mounted on an M4 18-ton tank. It has a blown 454 motor with an automatic transmission, and it weighs over 21,000 pounds. It is absolutely unbelievable. Predator carburetors, and the Virginia Beach Beast is something to see.
Well, there's another challenge to take place, and it's going to be Barefoot actually going up against the tank. Two totally different type of vehicles.
Well, this is going to be some race. This is my first time to see the rubber-tired up against the track vehicle. The maneuverability of the track and the power of Barefoot. Let's see if he can pull it off. Barefoot definitely has it covered. Fred Schaefer says, come on, let's go for it. And Fred Schaefer is just eating up the track vehicle. He makes the turn. The beast is all over it. Fred, all he has to do is keep it straight and go over the car. Watch out, Fred. Watch out, Fred. He made it. Barefoot in the challenge. Beats the beast. And beats him
handily.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Fine, fine run by Fred Schaefer. I'm glad Fred got this close lane. Definitely gave him advantage over the cars. The Beast even had trouble on the awkward cars on the other side.
We're going to watch this. This is where the Beast, I really think, has some problems. This is right at the corner when he goes over the hill.
He's up the hill. Way high, his front end comes down. Actually dozed the front end of the machine right into the dirt, lost speed, makes an excellent turn on the rebound though, Mike. Excellent turn, trying to get around, but this time Fred is already around the corner, going for the finish line. Excellent run by Fred Schaefer.
Boss.
Gary Collins, El Dorado Springs, Missouri, the Budweiser Boss. Let's see how he puts it together tonight. We know he's tough. We've seen him before, twin-blown Chrysler type. Keith Blackhemy set out in front of the Bud Boss. Watch Gary Collins go to work. Look out, look out. He's made the corner. He's headed out of the building. The box is top. The box is top. Look out. Can you believe it? He drug it all the way out of the building, made the turn. The box was top all the way out. Gary Collins, unbelievable action with the Budweiser Boss as he just brings it alive and blows it out of the stadium. What a pass for Gary Collins. Let's watch this again. Gary's got it on his mind just as soon as he leaves with the sled. He's got good traction. The tires are hooked in. Watch the box rush up to the top. All of the weight on that machine is topped out, and that's when he makes the turn. He makes a turn and then does it again and heads it right out of the stadium. The flagman is chasing him, waving the red flag, and Gary Collins with the Budweiser Boss drags it right out of the building. What a spectacular pull. We've seen him try it before, but he did it right here in the Astrodome tonight. A fabulous run for the Budweiser Boss.
Here is the way it ended. on the night. Mike Gallaway on a great finish with Bigfoot, the expected winner, doing it again.
I tell you what, it was a real, he won, but he really had to get out there and fight for it tonight. It was not given to him by any means. Rich doing a superb job handling the truck all the way around the course. The pressure was on him several times. He had to come from behind on the straightaway when he was hitting the last set of cars. He makes a good turn, lifting the left front off the ground, and this is where Rich says it's time. If we're going to do it, we've got to do it right here. And it was a photo finish, so very, very close. As you see him fly through the air and headed for that, Bigfoot takes the lead right there in the air, and here is the finish. It is so close. They call Bigfoot the winner, and it was a tremendous night, JP.
And so for Mike Gallaway, and our thanks as well to Jim Kramer, who represented Bigfoot, and for our producer-director Tom Williamson, I'm John Paul Dellacamera, bidding you a pleasant good evening from the Astrodome.